Help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also, hit that like button and subscribe if you want more Browns-focused content.
So I've been talking about the 2026 quarterback class all year. If you've been watching this channel, you have gotten week upon week upon week upon week upon week of quarterback coverage. Now, the quarterback coverage for this year has kind of metastasized, I believe is the word that I'm thinking of, around three names. There's Fernando Mendoza, quarterback out of Indiana. There is Dante Moore, quarterback out of Oregon. And then there is Ty Simpson, quarterback out of Alabama. Now, of those three names, the two names that I think are going to be in competition to go super early in this draft, Fernando Mendoza, Dante Moore. Now, Dante Moore is a bit of a mystery, right? There are rumors that persist from earlier in the season that Dante Moore is not going to come out in this draft class. But if you look at the logic for Dante Moore, the better and better he's played, the less and less it makes sense for him to go back to college. On top of the fact that Will Stein, his offensive coordinator that he was rumored to want to stay for, is moving on and taking the job at Kentucky. So unless he wants to start all over for no reason at all, take the risk of playing college football for another year to play with Will Stein in Kentucky, I think the meter is pointing more towards Dante Moore probably coming out this year. I know those reports happen with Dante, and a lot of people are pretty confident that he's not going to come out. But let's just read the tea leaves and read the logic here of why it wouldn't make sense for Dante Moore to go back to college. He's already in competition this year to be the number one overall pick. I think there is a good chance that he could be the number one overall pick if he comes out. And that's better odds than he has next year because there's a Manning coming out next year. And the reality of that is that if Arch Manning can walk and chew bubblegum, if Arch Manning, who has improved a lot in his first year starting at Texas, continues on an upward trajectory, Arch Manning, whether it's deserved or not, is going to be the number one overall pick because his name is Arch Manning. And no GM is going to look at the brand of the Manning family and say no to that at the quarterback position. It's just the reality of it. I know some people won't like it. Some people will say I'm overrating the kid. I don't know what he's going to turn out to be after this year, but there's already folks who I trust that do this scouting thing 24/7, like Nate Tice, who think that he's already there, right? So it's not going to take much for Arch Manning to be the number one overall pick next year. It is going to take Dante Moore a significant amount of work to be able to unseed what is football royalty. Mendoza's a really good player, but he's not football royalty, and he's 2 years younger than Mendoza. So you can make an argument that Dante Moore has more upside there. So yes, there is a lot of noise about Dante Moore not leaving college, but I don't know. I know NIL money has gotten bigger, and it's probably going to get much bigger after this year, but we're talking about money that NIL has never been able to throw at players. And even if you're Oregon, like, is it worth it to throw the amount of resources that you're talking about throwing? I mean, it sounds crazy what you would have to throw to keep Dante Moore in Oregon financially. So there's a lot of things to consider. There's a lot of things to think about. But what I want to do is introduce you guys to these players by going through some of their plays. Now, this isn't going to be an in-depth breakdown. I just have 6 plays for each player. And trust me, it was really hard to boil down these players to 6 plays. But I want to give you guys an introduction of who these players are and why it is that there are some folks who are really, really excited about them by showing you some of the best stuff that they're capable of throughout their career. So we're going to do that. But real quick, got to thank my sponsor, Sleeper. Real quick, just want to let you guys know Sleeper has a new offer here. They're offering a free $20 entry, no deposit required. And also, if you're a first-time user, you also will receive a 100% match on up to $100 when you use the promo code WORSTTAKE. Again, $20 free, no deposit required. Plus, first-time users also receive a 100% deposit match up to $100. Join Sleeper. So with Mendoza, I wanted to not only capture things that he's done well at Indiana where he is now, but also make the point of going back and looking at what he did at Cal as well, because I think his Cal tape is so underrated, right? There's a lot of people who have this assumption that he wasn't good at Cal. He was really good at the University of Cal. It's just nobody watched ACC West Coast football, so nobody's really that aware of it, and these teams weren't good enough to really garner national attention in the way that you would assume. So that is something I want to look at. I got a couple of throws here from when he was at Cal to kind of prove, one, where his baseline is, even without the offense or the tools that he has at Indiana, and two, to show you where he's progressed to. Now, this throw right here, I mean, it's just a fantastic throw by Mendoza. We can go over it. Look at how he works through his progression. You can see him go 1 to 2 to 3 right here. So he works through all the progressions, gets to the backside of this play where he has a one-on-one. He knows he has it once he sees it. He doesn't need a ton of separation to feel good about throwing it. Like, look at the separation here that we're getting from this wide receiver. It's not a ton, right? But he has the confidence to throw this. He throws this up, and nobody throws that back shoulder ball in college football better than Mendoza. Nobody does that better than him. Nobody throws a 50-50 ball up better than him. All right. Here's another play. Well, here's the end zone angle of this. You can just see him go 1 to 2 to 3. So he works through his progressions. Nice, clean feet, stable in the pocket. You could tell from this angle, too, just how big he is, right? 6'5", 235 pounds, and he can move a little bit. Works back, and then look at this ball rip. Look at that. That's a rip right there. You see how that ball just slices through the air? Boom. That's drive. That's big boy arm talent right there. Where would that put him in the league? It probably puts him in the upper tier of arms, not necessarily like Drake May or Josh Allen or anything like that, but it puts him in the strong arm category, even for a professional. It's another throw. Keep in mind, this was a game-winning drive for Cal against their rival in Stanford, who they hadn't beaten in a while. So this is a big-time play and a big-time moment for Mendoza. And look at this throw. Look at that throw. Just first on one. Look at how he gets through the progression, right? Starts left, works his way through it. 1, 2, full field read here. And then he can open his hips. Look how he opens his hips here. Opens his hips, knowing he's going to take a hit. And he's able to make this kind of throw while taking a hit. Look at that. Boom. And that ball is right on the money. You're going to see the end zone angle of it. It's going to be even better when you see that, because you actually trace the ball location. But again, look at it. You can see, get a good look for his size. Look at how he opens his hips here, right? Good feet, chop, 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 opens his hips, and he's able to get all of that thrust for that ball right here in this short little motion. So quick release too, right? Doesn't take long for him to wind it up. Doesn't need a lot to get that ball there. Nice arm extension. And he's able to get this ball off, take the hit, and look at that. Look at that. That is beautiful right there. And this is from the year that people sleep on. Let's look at some of the stuff he's done while he's been at the University of Indiana, right? This throw right here, he's on the far hash. He's going to throw this ball to the opposite side of the field, and it's just dropped in the bucket with drive. Whew. Man. Again, it's Big Ten football, right? So you go from ACC football, take a step up in the Big Ten. Iowa's one of the better defenses in the country. They always are. Kirk Ferentz throws a lot of NFL stuff at you, right? Used to be an NFL coach before he got to college. People forget that. He coached for the Browns a little bit. And just look at this throw here, right? Muddy pocket. There's somebody at his feet. It'd be real easy for him to get scared off here, but he just plants, stays tall, loads up, and look at this ball here. Look at how much travel this ball has. Boom. Perfect spot here. I mean, that's a whole shot right there. Boom. This ball goes from the 10 on the opposite side of the hash to the 40 before that safety can make up that 5-10 yards that he needs to get to this ball. That's how fast that ball's thrown there. That is beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Not a lot of quarterbacks can make that throw on Saturdays, and not a ton of quarterbacks on Sundays can make that throw. Right? Look at that. You notice how he throws a tight spiral, one of the tightest spirals you could see. Right? And again, clean feet up here. You notice how his drop is vertical. There's no left, right to it, right? It's a vertical drop, 1, 2, 3 pop, and he's hitching up. Look at that, hitch up. Stepping into that pocket, no fear, and releasing this ball, and just watch it drive right into the bucket. The wide receiver has to make no adjustments right here. Look at it. Boom. He beats that safety with some extra time, and that allows that wide receiver to take that hit and keep the ball, brace a little bit. That's beautiful right there. That again, I'm showing you these throws because there's a lot of talk about, oh, these quarterbacks aren't anything special. And I just disagree. I think you're seeing throws on a constant basis. I mean, again, these are only the 6 throws I kept in here to keep this video a reasonable length. I could have made this video 6-7 hours long if I wanted to, right? There's a lot of throws on tape from especially these 2 guys. Ty Simpson has his fair amount of throws that make you go wow as well. But these 2 guys have a lot of throws on tape that you don't see all the time, right? Now, I'm not saying they're generational or anything like that, but they're pro-level throws, upper echelon pro-level throws that you're seeing on tape, right? This is versus Penn State. It's in a huge moment, right? Final drive of the game, game-winning drive here. And just look at the anticipation here with this throw. Like, that's just big A anticipation, right? Gets a clean pocket here, clean look, but like they're doing a good job of blanketing the field. So he has to kind of use his imagination here and anticipate, which some quarterbacks have a very hard time doing, right? If it's not wide open, they can't see it. This ball's going to go here. He's going across the field, and he has to just like see what he's doing and trust that that's going to be open because of what he's looking at and how he's processing it. This is upper echelon stuff. So when he gets that throw off, it's not just, oh my God, look at how far the ball traveled or how tight of a window it was in. It's like, wow, look at how well he mentally anticipated this, right? So he anticipates this because look, when he makes the decision to throw, right, he probably makes that decision about right here. This is what he's looking at when he makes that decision to throw. There is nothing like wide open here, right? So what's going on is that he's able to process with anticipation, big A anticipation, right? That's what's going on here. That's why this throw is impressive. So he makes that decision. He processes with anticipation. He throws with anticipation. It's one of the biggest throws of the game. Again, this is stuff that makes him a better prospect than most. Yeah, the arm talent's there, the arm strength's there, the size is great. He's a good athlete, but that ability to process and anticipate, not a lot of guys coming out of college have that. On top of the other tools that he has, right? This throw right here, I think is super underrated because the next throw that comes up on tape here. But again, nobody throws this back shoulder 50-50 ball better than Fernando Mendoza in college football. Nobody does it better. He has this throw like money in the bank right here. Little drop, clean step. You notice how he's never blowing his def in his pocket. His drops are always really clean, really tight. He's not putting his tackle in any danger, right? And his tackle gets his ass whooped here, right? 33 whoops ass here. Boom. But since he's not super deep into his pocket, he's actually staying pretty tight here. The tackle is able to long arm him and run him out of the way, which buys him enough time to throw his ball. And then he throws this beauty of a back shoulder football. Great catch, obviously, by the wide receiver, but it's really good. It's a really good throw here. And, it's a really good pocket process by Mendoza, right? Like here, drop, tight, and then look at that throw. All right. And this is a game winner, right? Get the pressure right up the face. And again, another one where you just got to anticipate, because look at where he is. Look at what he's looking at when he makes the decision to throw right here. He makes the decision to throw right here. This is not a situation where he's just throwing to somebody that he sees is open, which you see a lot with college guys. This is a situation where he's like, okay, flat-footed linebacker, got my wide receiver coming across on the post. I think I can hit that window with the anticipation. And look, the game is on the line here. It's a big money throw and a big money play. And he throws with anticipation. It could have been a more accurate football, so the catch didn't have to be this ridiculous to win. But still, really good process there from Fernando Mendoza. So those are the 6 plays from Mendoza that I think really kind of highlight why it is that people are excited about him. Again, his ability to make these throws. He has done it under pressure. He really works the intermediate well. He throws the deep ball really, really well. And then just him as a thinker, right? As a processor, he has that well. He doesn't have funky pocket mechanics that you don't know if he's able to kind of break from. He seems like a pretty good package there at quarterback. Let's talk about Dante Moore, because some of you might not know why it is that people are saying that this guy could be the #1 overall pick. Well, let's look at what kind of throws he's put on tape that gets people to be this excited about him. So let's look at it, right? 6 plays from Dante Moore. When you watch Dante Moore, I think he has probably the best natural arm talent in the class if he comes out, and the poise from him is incredible, right? So watch this throw here. No pressure, but look at where it drops. Like, oh my goodness. He drops balls in buckets, right? Mendoza is pretty accurate. He's pretty accurate, right? Shout out to Corey Kennan. He's going to do the on-target charting, and from what I can hear, the Mendoza on-target stuff is really, really good. But boy, is this Dante Moore stuff impressive, right? That ability to drop it in a bucket right here is just very impressive. I mean, this was a money throw in a money situation. They needed this throw. He makes this throw. This puts him in field goal range. This wins them the game, right? This keeps your CFP hopes alive. And then just look at the throw. Whew, my God. Look at that. It doesn't require an adjustment here for your wide receiver. And this is why people get excited about the ceiling for Dante Moore. Is the consistency there? It's not bad. He doesn't have bad consistency, but he doesn't drop throws like that all the time. But just being capable of making a throw like that, like more consistent than not. I mean, like this is another throw versus Washington this week where he makes another throw just like it. This time on the hash his side, right? The other throw, I think he was on the opposite hash. So, I mean, just think about that, right? Opposite hash on a wide college field, and he's making throws like that. Like, it's incredible. Boom. And then you can move over here against Washington where he's on the same hash of the field, and then he's able to drop it in the bucket like that again. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to understand why these 2 quarterbacks are going to be a little sought after when the draft comes. Look at that throw. My God. My goodness. And then again, look at the drive on this ball. That ball has some giddy up on it, right? Now, I wonder how easy that is to catch for his wide receivers. It doesn't seem like a problem at Oregon, but it does seem like that ball is coming with some steam. But yeah, man, he can drive it, right? And I think that's the big thing with him. Nobody puts more drive on the ball than Dante Moore, right? Another one right here, right? Gets to the top of his drop. And just 1, look at the throw. My God. And 2, look at how just quick he is to process here, right? Let's run back his first 2 plays and just look at how quick he is to process. He doesn't hold on to the ball here. Top drop throw, right? Right here. Top drop throw. Another one, right? When we go to the next play. Again, he gets to the top of that drop. 1, 2, 3, pop. Okay, decision. Boom, ball out. There it is. Again, 3rd play here, right? Look at the decision, how quickly he makes it, how quickly he processes it, how quickly he sees it, gets his man in motion, identifies the defense, top of his drop, throw it. Boom. Incredible catch by that wide receiver if it stood. But the throw is on target, right? The throw is incredibly on target. So again, this is just more or less why it is that people are excited about these prospects, because they can make these kind of throws. I mean, my God, number 11, you might want to see who that is. Another one right here, right? Top his drop, throws this one, little bit of a muddy pocket, but look at the drive on this throw right here, right? He's able to put so much drive on that ball here. And look, throws this one with a little bit of anticipation. The wide receiver only has to gear down a little bit to get it, to get into that open zone. And then he's able to pick it up and run with it. And that ends up being a touchdown. He blows by these two guys and he scores. It's a good Washington defense. I mean, this is a defense that gave Ohio State a little bit of trouble for a half of football, right? Look how well he's able to work through everything too, right? Right, boom. Okay, I got a guy. Let's let it out. And then look at the release here. Look at the release. Ooh, man. That is a pretty release right there. Right? Steps out, drive, and then he's able to get off a throw like that without having to have a perfect base, right? He can just arm it, right? Rip. That's what you want to see. He is like Mendoza. You don't see a ton of different like access to different arm angles, right? He's more of your traditional pocket passer. Dante, there's some evidence here that he has a little bit of that, like, I don't want to say Pat Mahomes, because then people get a completely different idea when you start to say Pat Mahomes, right? But he has that ability to access different arm angles that quarterbacks like Pat can access, right? Caleb Williams, another one who has that access to different arm angles and can launch a ball from different points here, right? Doesn't need a perfect base to get a great ball off. He has great arm talent. I would say he has the most talented arm in this class if he comes out. You know, it's not like Mendoza's arm is weak. We just saw it, right? It's pretty strong. But I think the talent, the arm talent, the ability to throw from different angles, the ability to access different arm angles, the ability to drive the ball into a window, that's where Dante Moore at 20 years old has a step up on Mendoza. I think Mendoza's a little bit more polished and he's seen more stuff and he's played more football. So you can feel a lot more comfortable about his ability to translate to your system. So he's going to feel a little safer. I think Dante Moore is going to feel a little bit more of upside, and it's going to be a preference decision. I think both of them are fantastic, but that's going to be what it comes down to, right? Little play action here against USC, and just another one. Look at this is what I mean by like arm talent. He fits this ball into the tightest of window here, right? Like this ball could have only been completed on this play in like this tiny little window. And he just fits it in right there because he's able to just drive the ball ridiculously. Now, he does see a lot more clean pockets than we saw with Mendoza, especially when we were showing that cow stuff. So that's something to think about, right? Like, what does he do under pressure? Does he get a little shaken under pressure? I think he's handled pressure well enough in college. He hasn't played a ton of football, which is going to be a knock on him for some people. I think the quality of football you play is much more important than the quantity of football you play, in my opinion. But yeah, look at this throw here, right? Boom. Right into that window. Really nice. Really, really nice. All right, last throw of the day we're going to look at here. We're Moore against USC. He was excellent against USC and against Washington. Checks Sadiq out, and then look at this one. Oh, yeah. This is going to get NFL GMs excited. Look at this throw here on the seam. Anticipation in a tight window. Boom, right there. Now there is a question of like, hey, should he have opted for such a difficult completion here? right? When you have the one-on-one to the outside, and it looks like you win it on the outside on the left-hand side, well, yeah, on the bottom of your screen here, it looks like he wins it. That is a question, right? That might not be the side of the field they asked him to read. You got to ask Dan Lanning and his staff about what they wanted Dante to do here, and I'm sure they'll get that answer from Dan Lanning and his staff here, right? This is a little bit, this is still open because look at where it is when he sees it. This is still open, but it's much more difficult of a throw here, especially since that free safety catches on to what he's trying to do here. I don't think he anticipated that. Much more difficult throw, and he ends up making it. So if you could do it, cool. Don't nobody care. But yeah, that's like one question you're going to want to ask. Hey, should he have had his eyes at the bottom? Is there alert in? Did he not get there? Right? Because you want to make sure he's processing the play properly and doing what he's supposed to do. But look at the throw, dude. Woo. And look at the catch by Sadiq, by the way. I know the Browns don't need a tight end, but like he looks cool. He looks good. But yeah, Moore, really good. You can see the throw here. I mean, ooh, man, what a throw. What a throw. Only where his guy could get it. The risky throw, it's maybe not the most open guy here, but man, can you argue with the result? Can you argue with the result here when it's that pretty? Yeah, but I just wanted to show you guys why it is that I'm talking about these guys, right? And it's really no disrespect to anybody on the roster. The Browns just have to keep their eye out for quarterback solutions until they know for a fact that they have one in the building that's worth committing to long term. And until we get to that point, I think you should always keep an eye out on what's going on with the draft, especially when you have not drafted a quarterback in the first round since 2018. So that's my point. That's what I'm watching here and why it is. And I'm excited. I want to give you guys some visual aid on that because I know you've been asking for it. And also, some of you guys might not have time to watch every game on Saturday. Maybe you're an Ohio State fan, so you're only watching Ohio State games. And you're not really catching some of the more impressive stuff that these quarterbacks are doing when you're flipping channels. I'm just wanting to show you some of what's going on. And look, it's 6 plays from each quarterback, but I can tell you right now, it was difficult to condense this to 6 plays. I had to fight myself to condense this to 6 plays because I wanted to put a bunch of different plays on here, every wild throw I could find. But there will be a time and place for that as we get further and further into the draft conversation. And as we see if the Browns are going to have the kind of record they're going to need to have to be able to be in the draft conversation for a quarterback. But those are Mendoza and more highlights. I really didn't add Ty Simpson because it would have added another like 15 minutes to this video. And I did not want this video to be 45. I wanted it to be around 30. So if you're wondering why Ty's not in it, that's why Ty's not in it. It's no real shade to him. But yeah, those are the 2 guys that people have been talking a lot about and the 2 guys in the Big Ten. So, I wanted to put that out there. Y'all tell me what you think. Have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.